Hi there, Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Welcome to Morning Mindset Cafe. We're talking about Think and Grow Rich, written by Napoleon Hill. More specifically, we are on Chapter 3, Desire Backed by Faith. It's a big one. Faith is, in actuality, the second step toward riches. Those in the live area, you can access the PDF from which I'm going to reference. If you have your own book, again, it's Chapter 3. And Napoleon Hill writes that faith is the head chemist of the mind. And he says that when faith is blended with the vibration of thought, the subconscious mind instantly picks up the vibration, translates it into its spiritual equivalent, and transmits it to infinite intelligence, as in the case of prayer. I'm not sure that I like the language. And yet it doesn't really matter what language we're using in terms of verbiage, vocabulary. Words matter. But it does matter what words we're using. It's just that these aren't the words that I use. So what I do know to be certain of is what he says a little bit later in the How to Develop Faith section, which is the first page of that chapter. Faith is a state of mind which may be induced or created by affirmation or repeated instructions to the subconscious mind through the principle of autosuggestion. The method to develop faith, he admits, is extremely difficult to describe. I admit it's extremely difficult to describe. It really is a state of mind. And for those that require or think in terms of, I'll believe it when I see it. Faith is the I'll believe it when I feel it. That's my view. And it's powerful. It's powerful. There's a definite change in my belief in the ability to do something when it's backed by faith. Okay. So for me, faith is intense, very strong. What is my faith in? When he's talking infinite intelligence, I call that God. I have it backed by a doctrine, dogma, teachings of a Christian faith, so that I have a bit of an understanding, a bit of an understanding of what that infinite intelligence is, of what God is. But more importantly, because I do have a foundation of a particular religion, of a particular doctrine and teachings, that's the foundation only. That's the beginning to determine what kind of relationship I have with that infinite intelligence. And that, I believe, is what Napoleon Hill is guiding us to do. Because he doesn't specifically say which religion or dogma or doctrine you need to believe in, hence using the term infinite intelligence. Instead, it's left to me to pursue knowledge, but more importantly, access to that infinite intelligence. Repetition works. Where I grew up, where didn't have to understand all the words, I prayed anyway. Many times I questioned the religion, but I didn't question the faith, which was interesting. I didn't question the faith, and I can tell you it's because I could see results from prayer and meditation. I could see when I asked for things for myself in terms of being better, of wanting strength, or asking for guidance, or asking for more compassion, asking for the ability to recognize somebody in need, the ability to help somebody in need. When I was looking for self-confidence and attitude change, and I was quiet, and that was the kind of prayer or talk I would have with this infinite intelligence. I felt, right? I felt that I knew the direction to go. And when I would take that direction, I would see a result that was pretty positive in terms of this is the answer. And I was in the right direction. So looking back, I was able to see that I had gone in the right direction. I had picked the right path. When I did my prayer meditation, got quiet and looked inside and felt, right, the answer and took it. So that improved the level of faith, the strength of faith that I had in an outer intelligence. Okay, so that's my explanation, layperson here. There's a reason I go to spiritual retreats. I go to the professionals, professional prayers. And trust me, when I'm in guided prayer, it's very, very different than when I do it myself. When I'm in guided meditation, it's very different than when I do it myself. Coming from the comment section, Catherine saying, faith is, I believe it without tangible circumstances. Yeah, it's Aaron, it's faith in something which prompts actions. Would you do something if you did not believe? Ooh, that's an excellent question. That is an excellent question. I'm going to pose that to everybody here. Michael Phelps is a good example of the results of believing in the repetition of possibility. He was not supposed to be able to win 8 gold medals in 1 Olympics. They said it was impossible. Yeah. Somebody declared them experts, I guess. He just ingested the possibility so much that he no longer heard what they said, and he began to expect the gold medals, and he made the actions choices to reach that expectation. Excellent overview of you believe it, you put it into action, you continue to put it in action, you put your expectation out there. He had the desire, he backed it up with the repetition to himself that of course it's possible. He had faith in his abilities. I don't know if he had faith in anything outside himself. I don't know. But I can only apply this to me, right? Like what Aaron said, is that would you do something if you didn't believe? If you didn't believe it was possible? Or if you didn't believe that something greater than yourself is available to you to give you the strength to do what needs to be done or to provide you with the guidance. In the chapter, Napoleon Hill references that there are millions of people, and you know this to be true today. I know this was written, not quite 100 years ago. This is so true today. Millions believe that they're doomed to poverty. They're doomed to mediocrity. They're doomed to low wages. I'm surrounded by blue collar workers. Absolutely firmly believe they are doomed to have those low wages that, because they're dependent on somebody else to make their money. And yet the same blue collar workers are the ones that don't believe that. Yes, they've also heard it all their life. But those that don't believe that are the ones that recognize opportunities in the unions that they have for additional training or certification that can get them higher wages. Or if they're not union, but they have the skill set of opportunity to use that skill set in a different way. And they believe that they have the skill set to make more money elsewhere. So they believe in themselves and they believe that they're not doomed. Good morning, JP. Good to see you, my friend. So again, because they believe they're doomed, because they believe they have no control, they're actually creating their own misfortune. And it's because of their belief. It's the same thing as those of us that believe differently and have a different perspective on life and are growing and are making more money because we believe differently. We believe it's possible, right? And I love the discussion happening here in response to the question of, do you have to believe? Do you have to have faith? Do you have to believe you can in order to do something? Would you do something if you didn't believe? And a great example is brought up right now, and that's it. That's when I first tried to ride a bike, I didn't believe I could. But the desire to learn, to eventually know that I could, took over and helped, right? Helped every time he crashes to get back up and try it again. Desire for the outcome drove me to try, even though I didn't have faith I could. I love that. That's why desire backed by faith is so powerful. So you have the desire for the outcome. You don't really have the insides that say, this is really possible, but boy, I really want that. And people are telling me this is what I need to do. So this is what I'm going to do. And then when it starts to happen, or you start to see some changes because you really want that outcome, you keep trying, you keep doing, and the faith starts happening. So for those who need to see in order to believe, or feel in order to believe, that can happen too, can it? Those that live the impossible are those that are fed and taught that the impossible is possible until they believe that nothing is impossible. You know, that's interesting, that statement of nothing is impossible. How negative is that? Everything is possible is a completely different perspective. And I'm recognizing that because I have heard and said myself many, many times over the years that nothing's impossible. And yet I never tried to do something that I consider to be impossible. And when I started thinking in terms of, and this has been in the past few years being a business owner, when I started thinking in terms of, well, everything's possible, anything is possible. I've been doing things, honestly, that 10 years ago I would have told you wouldn't happen. That's impossible. There's no way I would be able to do that. And I couldn't, based on who I was at the time, but I couldn't see myself being any different. Interesting, isn't that? Interesting, isn't it? All right, so we can believe what we want to believe. Do you want to believe you're doomed to poverty and failure? Continue to tell yourself that it's everybody else's fault, that you're just a series of bad luck, that, that I'm not meant for anything bigger and better. Or let's change that belief based on, if nothing else, based on what you're seeing other people doing, right? This is me. This is me. I'm the one that has to see that this is working for other people. And so when I see that, then I say, okay, this is possible. This is possible. So what do I need to do in order to believe that I can do it myself? Well, what I did was, I want to be like them. I want to be different. This is what I want to be like, right? And then I started feeding my mind the things about what I wanted to be, you know? And a lot of it has to do with faith. I have a variety, because I'm a Christian based, I have a variety of Bibles. There's 52 different Bibles, just so you know. Interpretations, languages used, and all that. So I have quite a few different types. And I listen to others that are growing and using the tools that I use to grow. I seek counsel from the professionals. And then I feed, the important part here is that I'm feeding my brain and my mind something different than what I used to. Because remember, when we want to change something about ourselves, the way we see things, we want to change it into something else. You can't just get rid of something. You have to replace it. And so we can consciously do this by seeking things that will help our subconscious mind to change the way we're seeing the world, which can ultimately change the way that we do things, right? Acquire the ability to mix faith with any order given to the subconscious mind. Perfection will come through practice. This is something that can't happen just by reading instructions. If it be true that one may become a criminal by association with crime, it's equally true, one may develop faith by voluntarily suggesting to the subconscious mind that one has faith. Understand this truth and you'll know why it's essential for you to encourage the positive emotions as dominating forces of your mind and discourage and eliminate negative emotions. So you're replacing, right? When you have a positive mind and it's dominated by positive emotion, it's now open to and favorable for the state of mind with faith. It really is. Because faith, it was asked earlier if I believe there's a difference between faith and hope, and I think they're intertwined. Hope says that I have the faith things will change or be better, or that it is for me, or that it can happen. It does increase my faith. So we're going on the premise that faith is a state of mind that can be induced with autosuggestion. And even Napoleon Hill here is saying that through the ages, those with religion have admonished struggling humanity to have faith in whatever dogma or creed or doctrine or what have you. The issue always comes down to something that always annoys me. Nobody tells you how to have faith. How do you do that? So what he's saying is, in language which any normal human being can understand, we're going to describe all that is known about the principle through which faith may be developed, where it doesn't already exist. Have faith in yourself, faith in the infinite. Reminder is faith is the eternal elixir which gives life, power, and action to the impulsive thought. It is something outside of ourselves that we're bringing in. It's a starting point of all accumulation of riches. Faith is the basis of all miracles and all mysteries which cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. Faith is the only antidote for failure. Faith is the element, the chemical, which when mixed with prayer gives one direct communication with infinite intelligence. Faith is the element which transforms the ordinary vibration of thought created by the finite mind of man into the spiritual equivalent. Faith is the only agency through which the cosmic force of infinite intelligence can be harnessed and used by man. So we get ourselves into a state of meditation after prayer and utilizing the imagination, open ourselves up to possibilities and what can happen. And backed by faith, we're able to find answers because we believe that the answers are going to come to us. Okay, because we've told ourselves that they would. Now, you back that. You use that to back a desire to get something done, to have something happen. It's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. credible. Let's see here. Faith always sounds more action-oriented to me than hope. It is. It is. You're taking action through your thought and through your emotion and emotion, right? Accessing that infinite intelligence. And let's see here, going through the comments here. Hope is the ground preparation for faith to grow. Isn't that nice? That's a nice way to look at it. So biblically speaking, there's the idea that the faith of a mustard seed, right? That tiny bit of faith can move mountains. It's the, for me, I'm going to talk about me for a moment. All right, so always, because that's the only way I can relate to this stuff, is my own experience and my own thinking at the time. Faith has helped me to get through seemingly impossible situations. The interesting thing is that until I owned my own business, I rarely considered or drew on faith to get me to succeed in something. That's me. Today is different. Today I draw on that faith and I use it to back what I'm doing, to help me to stay on track, to give the oomph behind that desire of what it is that I am seeking and that I'm reaching towards in terms of my financial freedoms. And where it comes into play is when I'm presented with an opportunity, right? I have faith that I can do it. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do next, but I have faith because I believe in that myself, that I have access to other people, that I have access to this infinite intelligence, that I have, I believe in the end vision of whatever it is that I'm participating in, and it fits with what I'm doing now. No? So with regard to the business, I am now using that faith on purpose to back my desire for what it is that I'm reaching my end vision, my end goal, and then the everything that has been broken down month to month to month, right? So I tap into it. It's a source of strength. It's a source of guidance. It's where I check my conscience. And I know the power of faith. So Napoleon Hill is saying that proof is simple and easily demonstrated. Center our attention upon the subject of self-suggestion, find out what it is and what it's capable of achieving. It's a well-known fact that one comes finally to believe whatever one repeats to oneself, whether the statement is true or false. So if a man repeats a lie over and over, he will accept the lie as truth. Moreover, he will believe it to be true. Every man is what he is because of the dominating thoughts which occupy his mind. Thoughts that we deliberately place in our own mind and encourage with sympathy, mixed with any one or more of the emotions, constitute motivating forces which direct and control every movement, act, and deed. So we recognize that. We also can recognize this statement of truth, that thoughts which are mixed with any of the feelings of emotions constitute a magnetic force which attracts from the vibrations of the ether other similar or related thoughts. Now we're going to get into the law of attraction. Right? I'm attracted to like-minded people. Boy, doesn't that sum up what we just read here out of the attempt to describe verbally? I'm attracted to like-minded people. All that we're talking about here is about that, right? Our thoughts are important. What we think is important. It helps us to attract those that we want around us or that we don't want around us. It's all in our own mind. So continuing through, we are what we are because of the vibrations of thought, which we pick up and register through the stimuli of our daily environment. Hence, surround yourself with like-minded people. Surround yourself with successful people. Surround yourself with people of faith. And you too will become one. I'd love for somebody to jump in the seat and talk about this with me. Faith takes you through the fire without getting burned. Well, that'd be nice, JP. Oh, man. How about faith got me through the fire, and while I got burned, I survived the fire. So the more emotions and senses involved when planting thoughts, the stronger the roots of those thoughts. That's an even better way to say it, isn't it? So how much do I really want the outcome and results I'm going for? If I have a definite amount of money that I want to attain this month, and these are the action steps for me to get it, do I want that amount of money badly enough to do the actions necessary? Do I believe that if I do those actions, that I'm going to get that money in return for those actions? How strongly do I believe? Especially, and this really comes into play, doesn't it, when we're talking about something that at one time we would have considered impossible. Honestly, it testimonial here, I'm doing things today that would have been impossible for me 10 years ago, and I would have told you. Not that I would have said never would have happened, I just would have said it won't. I can't see myself doing that. Yeah, who's brave enough to take a seat, JP? Oh, we've got plenty of brave people here. It's just a matter of getting our thoughts together so we can share, right? And you're saying that you resonate more with faith being walking through the fire without getting burned. Hope is that maybe I can get across that fire without getting burned. Okay. Yeah, Tamara. That's it. Who's camera ready, right? Who's got the hair done? Faith of a willow tree. I have no idea what a faith of the willow tree means. I know about the faith of the mustard seed, but I don't know about the analogy faith of a willow tree. I think the most important aspect of all of this is that we recognize that with faith, with that emotion put behind the desire of what we're going for, makes it that much more possible, doesn't it? Great stuff coming out of the chat. Hope is bolder. It makes everything possible. That's where it really hits the imagination, doesn't it? Oh, and then JP, I haven't hot steamed my beard yet. I have wake up beard. Oh, I've seen your wake up beard. We'll wait. Yeah, these are strong emotions, aren't they? And I think that's the value of talking about it this way, is because if I have to check, this is a big deal what I'm doing and where I'm taking my life. This isn't making a decision today about what to eat or where to go for the day or anything like that. Not that that's trivial. But compared to, we're talking about big things here, aren't we? These are big deals. We're talking about growing ourselves so that we're prepared for the success we're going to have, and outright stating, I will succeed. It will happen. And in order for it to happen, I'm going to be doing these things. One of those is applying that faith behind my desire. So, would love to hear from people. Well, again, great things happening in the chat. Storms make trees take deeper roots. Dolly Parton, we have to experience the storms. Oh, absolutely. And those with scars are stronger than those without. Storms bend trees and snap, fracture branches. But when those branches are repaired, the scar that's put there is stronger than before. So when the storm comes through again, it's not fractured. All kinds of analogies we can put in here about faith and are we broken or are we not, right? Any type of tough time makes you question and break and rebuild yourself or your mind and biz. Yeah, that's the toughest part. That's where a lot of gratitude comes in, and gratitude is a form of faith, isn't it? Uh-oh. We're being warned by Aaron. He's considering calling in with an avatar. Mm-hmm. And his desire is it will make everyone smile and have faith that it will. All right, we're prepared. Knowing Aaron, it's going to be something. Yes, that doesn't surprise me one darn bitter.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, dear.
Yeah, all the chatter about morning hair and stuff, and over here it's still only 5:41 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured, okay, I got to call in. Let's do something fun and entertaining.
There it is. Thank you. That's good. The bear has his poker face on.
Yes.
Catherine is saying that out of the chapter, I am where I am because of thoughts domination of my mind. Yes. Yes, that's what we're talking about. What's dominating our thoughts? That which we focus on is what we get, right? And then, of course, JP is reminding us that, yes, we can see Aaron in the sunglasses reflection.
Hi.
Somewhat distorted, but we can see.
Yeah, this, I've kind of been noticing most, if not everything, that is really important and has to do with these mind, thoughts, emotions, feelings. A lot of times there's a double-edged sword, as they say, two sides of the coin, as they say, to where one feeds the other. Faith will feed action, and action will feed faith.
Yep.
And
but it all begins with the thought.
It always does. It always does. And
so we have Shannon in the comment section saying belief in Jesus is faith. That he came, lived, died, and rose again for me and for you. And that's a belief system that begins with a thought. You first have to learn, right? You have to learn the story of Jesus. And you learn it and you understand it and you back it with strong emotion, and that becomes part of your belief system. And if you're in the Christian faith, as I am, you're continually reminded of that as the doctrine and the creed, so that it becomes subconscious. And that's where that strong emotion comes from. Yeah. So it is a belief.
Well, yeah, and then earlier in the comments, right? I forget who it was talking about this, but if you grow up in these environments where they're feeding your faith, it's going to grow. You're going to believe that anything and everything is possible. Yeah. If you're growing up in an environment, you're getting that. Now we're adults, we can choose to have, auto-suggestion, self-talk. When we're younger, we're not aware of these things. So it's our family, it's our peers that are giving you this auto-suggestion and building these thoughts, which turn into beliefs, which turn into actions, which, end up with results. This is what happens because you did this. Even Teddy Bear knows that.
Even Teddy Bear knows that.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that we have an engineer saying belief in Christ is revealed in your spirit, not necessarily solely through engineered rational thought. And yet, I believe it is. I believe that the beginnings of any religion, right, is an attempt to provide rational thought to the experience. How's that? So maybe you are right. That maybe not right or wrong, but my thinking of where you're coming from, my alignment with what you're saying, is that an experience that occurred can then be verbalized to be communicated. And that's what Napoleon Hill's saying, is that we're just going to take the rational thought, because we're doing it consciously, to determine this is what my belief system is. It's interesting, but strong. Some things you cannot sway. You cannot sway my faith in God. It's been tested. Won't be swayed.
Yeah, faith is a powerful thing. You know, and a lot of people think or talk about, you know, their spiritual or religious beliefs in God as, you know, a key factor of their faith, which is understandable because, I mean, me personally, I've seen a lot of things happen that really I cannot explain other than a divine source. I've been through a lot and seen too much not to have a solid faith in a divine forgiveness.
Right. You know, it was interesting in a mastermind private group, we were talking about people you want to do business with, people you want to surround yourself, and the values that they hold. And what came out on top, the majority of those in the group, was that other person have a faith in a religion, based in a religion of some sort. And further discussion revealed it's because, and this is me, it's because when I come across somebody who has no faith in anything outside of themselves, all their faith is in themselves. And I have difficulty with atheists and a few, not very many religions, but honestly, it's atheism, because you're expecting me now to understand and believe in what you say. So now I am being asked to believe in a person who I believe to be fallible, instead of an outside source that I am seeing continued reasons for believing. And I guess it's difficult to describe, isn't it? But what was interesting was that we all, pretty much all of us, the only one that didn't actually, it was interesting, was a Wiccan. So it was a different kind of faith. But even then we were saying, but at least we understand that you are getting your inspiration and your guidance from something outside yourself, of which we can understand. But sole reliance on yourself, I don't want to follow you, and I can't understand that language, and it's not a value of mine. So I found interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, you talk about desire and faith, and I think that it doesn't matter what religion you are. I'm pretty sure every person on this planet desires to experience happiness. I mean, that's, I you know, whether or not
that seems to be true.
Yeah, whether my experience has been is riding a roller coaster, or relaxing by a river fishing, or hiking up a mountain, or sitting around watching movies. Everybody's going to want, you know, happiness, their happiness. And so everybody has desires. Not everybody is happy, though. And I think a lot of that has to do with, like, you know, we're talking about your thoughts and your faith. Do you think it's possible for you to be happy? And do you believe, you know, do you have faith that you can be happy? You know, it's not just, I hope, I want, you know, I want to win the lottery. Do I have faith I'm going to win the lottery? Probably not. because I don't play
it. There's the difference between hope and faith right there, right?
I don't have money.
All right, so I'm going to read this, Aaron. I think you'll appreciate this. It is in the chapter, and it's related to the autosuggestion, the law of autosuggestion, all right, through which any person may rise to altitudes, heights of achievement which stagger the imagination. Here's the verse, a series of verses in a poem. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find, success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but soon or late, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. It goes right back to, what is it that you believe? You know, if you think you can, it'll happen. If you think you can't, it won't. And the faith comes in.
Darlene, that's so true. I was thinking about, well, actually one word kind of caught my attention.
Yeah.
And that word is will.
Mm.
So you will, let's see, it can be your will or you will, right? It can be, you know, an emotion, a feeling, or it can be an action.
Yeah.
You know, you know, it was my will to get Fuzzy Bear here. I don't know. I'll have to come up with an avatar name for him. You know, I could see this guy becoming a superstar. Will I call in with him? Well, apparently I did. And so, you know, I think that word, you know, kind of touches on that dual state of some of these things we're talking about. Because if you have the will inside of you, you will take the action.
Well, again, what do you believe? Do you believe you can? That's the beginning of tapping into a faith, right? If you believe you can, let's go a little deeper and think about, why do you believe you can? Where's that strength and belief coming from? Are you able to tap into that infinite intelligence, whom I call God, who others call something else, but to tap into that, to get you through the tough times, to get you through the good times, like, right? To keep you on an even keel so that you can stay focused. I think we all have that possibility. Now, in the book, for those who aren't familiar with it, is called the Self-Confidence Formula. And that's in this chapter. And it is for those who resolve to throw off the influences of any unfortunate environment and to build your own life to order. Right? To build your own life to order. I love this. And I have that up on my wall as well, the Self-Confidence Formula. And I've shared it with others. And it's all about recognizing the importance of what you tell yourself and walking through it. I recommend everybody to have a good read through aloud to yourself. And then if you find yourself stumbling, wondering, well, I don't know that I believe that, to read it aloud every day until you do, because it's powerful.
Yeah, confidence and faith, they go hand in hand. In my thoughts, you know, because I have a hope for something, because I will something, I will take action.
Yeah. Through
that course of taking action, I not only build confidence in myself, but I'm able to identify supporting facts that actually prove to me that my faith is warranted, that my hopes can become expectations. You know, so instead of hoping, I hope that people like me to call in with the bear, I become more expectant. Now, I do want to know, do you want the sunglasses or not? I don't know. He looks kind of...
Yeah, the sunglasses.
Without the
sunglasses work.
But anyway, you know, that's kind of the tricky thing, you know, because if you don't have it, if you don't have faith, and all you have is hope,
that's enough.
You know, it's going to be
hard. I'm going to tell you, Aaron, it's tough, but I'm going to, my own experience says that that's enough. And I say that because I work with broken people, and I haven't for a while. I better put that caveat in there. I haven't for been about a year or so since the last one I worked with. Time flies. But over the years, I've worked with broken women, and they have hope, and it's just enough that they are willing to listen to a different way of doing things. Okay. And one of the things that oftentimes we talk about is a faith in something. And I tell them that if you have the willingness to do something a little bit differently, it's all it takes, because that willingness shows that you have hope it can happen. And when they talk about, you know, that I just don't understand. I don't get it. What the world are you talking about when it comes to prayer? What do you mean by faith? And I tell them, you know, borrow mine, borrow my faith, borrow my prayers. Just do it. You see, and you say those prayers aloud, and you begin to believe that there's something out there, and it's a response to continual belief. And I said, listen, I'm just a lay person, but I think God can handle you saying, I don't believe in you, but I'm going to say this anyway. I think He can handle that, right?
So that's
and honestly, over the years, I get a lot of people who say that really helped, because it helped them to get focused and to start I'm recognizing now what I was doing. I didn't think of it this way before. You're saying that prayer regularly, every morning, every night, doing it whether you want to or not, doing it, and then start feeling better and start changing because you've been doing something and you've been feeding your thoughts, right? From others who are there to help, like what I was giving became part of their thoughts, and others like me giving my thoughts so that became theirs, and all of that. I know this. I know this stuff works. when you have faith in something.
I think that it's real important to kind of hone in and clarify the transition from going from hope or desire into faith, because like I was touching on, everybody desires happiness. Everybody hopes that they're happy. Not everyone has faith. Not everyone believes I'm going to be happy, or whatever it is that they're hoping for. And so what I'm hearing you saying, and I think we've discussed it in the chat too, I just think it's real good to reinforce this part of it, is that when you have hope, you're going to do something, whether it's positive self-talk or prayer or look for ways for it to be possible. That hope is going to inspire some sort of action. Something's going to go on inside of your brain that says, I hope this is real. Let's keep hoping. And you're actually going to open up part of your brain and start taking action to develop faith. I mean, because that's kind of what I think the transition is really important for anyone listening to understand is, okay, everybody has a desire or hope. And not everybody has faith, but how do you go from having that hope to faith? And what you're saying, pretty straightforward, is to do something. It's to take action on that hope, on that desire. I desire for everyone to like Funny Bear or whatever. I don't know about the faith yet, so I took action. And through continued action, I'll build a confidence in my faith to give me more energy, more action, to really make that desire, that hope come true. So I think that's the key there, right there. From hope to faith takes a little bit of action.
Okay. Now let's take it one step further. So we have an idea, right? And we have an idea that will help us make the money we would like, but even better, we have an idea that's pretty big, right? We could have a massive impact on the world with this idea. And that's where it begins, right? The idea was formed and then fleshed out a bit using the imagination. Now we mix that idea with faith, because now it's possible. The minute I put it with faith, it's possible. And then because I've mixed or supported that idea with faith, and I know it's possible, now it's time to just outline a plan to get that idea into physical and financial reality. Okay. Now the plan is there, and it's time to put the plan into action. Now, what the action can look like is a variety of things, because oftentimes when something big happens, it means bringing in other people. So, actually what I'm thinking of, Aaron, is 16 to success. So bring in other people and talk about it. Get them on board with the plan. Get them on board with the idea. And then start laying out more details of the plan of how to get there. By bringing on these other team members, 16 to Success, that started out as something pretty small, has turned into a big idea that we're reaching for. Now, the big idea is like phase 3, but we all know that that's the bigger thing that we're working towards. In the meantime, we're at the minimum viable product stage, which is stage 1. It's just a stepping stone to stage 3. And we're following through on the plan, and we're pretty persistent. Okay, we've been persistent, getting through some obstacles and some foibles and some doubt and what have you, and we've done that. And yet, why we're persistent is because we all made the decision and commitment, right? And then we're preparing ourselves for success because we have the desire for that success. That falls right in line with the current project I am involved with, right in line with the story of Charles Schwab when he formed the idea of United Steel Corporation. Exact same thing.
So you're bringing in that next step. So the progression would be, I have a desire. I want something.
I have faith it can happen.
Now I go from the desire to a hope. I believe it's possible. It could be possible.
No, I don't have the hope. The faith says that it's possible.
I think that the faith says that you should expect it. It's like more than possible. It's probable at that point when you have faith.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
I think that, when you hope, you think it's possible. It could happen. And so you do some things, you open your mind, you take some practices to do positive self-talk or autosuggestion to get your mind ready for it. And then you start seeing things, you start taking that action and have faith. And once you have that faith, so that's the progression, then you have a confidence, you have a probability. It's not possible like you had when it was a desire. You add faith, it's probable. It's going to happen now. You have faith. Okay. You understand it now, because after faith is more action, which gives you those indicators. Not only is it probable, but this is in fact how it's going to break down. You can do this, you can do that, and then you will progress. You can take step 1 to take step 2 to identify step 3. So going from desire, bringing it to faith, which goes from possible to probable, taking more action to where you're building confidence and understand how exactly that probability is going to manifest.
Yep, the plan. And then the plan dictates what needs to be done next, the action that's to be taken. And then the persistence to not stop.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy stuff. I mean, because once you start taking the steps and you have the faith and confidence, that persistence, it's going to be easier and easier because it's become a habit. You become part of that in the subconscious mind of every day believing and taking an action.
Yep, you got it. All right, so I'm going to close out the recording portion because we are at the top of the hour, and I'll be happy to keep the room open for a while for further discussion. So thank you, Mr. Bear and Aaron, for joining me in the live stream, and the Peanuts gang. Yes, we all noticed that. There's a child in every one of us. Thank you for those in the chat section. Fantastic comments, interesting conversations happening to the side, all related to faith and the importance of having faith in order to achieve success, whatever you've defined success to be. In this case, because we're talking about Think and Grow Rich, we're defining success in financial matters. Again, success, however you've defined it. Thank you to those watching. I appreciate you. And those watching the replay, thanks for sticking with us this long. This is Charlene Burke with Grow Because You Know. That's www.growbecauseyouknow.com. Let's move forward with the day on purpose, with purpose, to grow our hearts, grow our minds, and grow our businesses. Until next time, have a great day.